Hi, my name is Alex Elmhurst, and today I'm going to be talking about the New York City Water Tunnel number 3. For over 80 years, New York relied on 2 water tunnels that had not been inspected or repaired since the day they opened. After a failed inspection, New York City realized that they would need a 3rd water tunnel to continue to allow the city to run smoothly. Because of this, they decided to create New York City Water Tunnel number 3. What is New York City Water Tunnel number 3? In order to answer this, I'm first going to talk about the first 2 water tunnels. The first water tunnel was activated in 1917, and the second water tunnel was activated in 1936. Both of these tunnels have been simultaneously running, providing water to the city since they opened. In 1954, they did attempt to shut down one of the tunnels so that they could do inspections, but in the process of shutting it down, they ran into some issues that they feared would potentially break the tunnel and could cause crisis in the city, so they decided to stop. Because of this, they realized that they would need a 3rd tunnel so that they could properly perform inspections and repairs without causing anything to break. And if anything were to break on its own, the 3rd tunnel would work as a backup to prevent any crisis from occurring. The construction project ended up being split into 3 phases. The first phase began in 1970, but because of overshooting of the rock, they needed more concrete. So due to increase of expenses, along with an increase in inflation in the city, they had to put the project on pause for financial issues. When the city finally financially recovered in the 1980s, they were able to start the project again, and they were able to have the first phase completed in 1989. In 2013, they had the second phase completed, and at this point, they had spent $4.7 billion. $2.7 billion of those dollars came just from the second phase alone. While Mayor Bloomberg was in office, he decided that getting the tunnel finished needed to be his first priority because he feared that if anything were to go wrong with the first 2 tunnels, it could cause chaos in the city and potentially shut the city down altogether. Because of this, he decided to put maximum time and money into the project. He ended up spending more than all 5 predecessors before him. Along with that, he had the construction workers working at least 3 shifts a day. Due to these new efforts, he was able to get the project completed by 2013. However, it did cause an increase in sewage and water rates in the city. The final phase of the project would be providing water to the cities that Water Tunnel number 2 provides. Water Tunnel number 2 was in better condition than Water Tunnel number 1 because it was built later. So they decided that it wasn't as urgent because they didn't have as much fear that it would need to be repaired. Along with this, the mayor realized that citizens needed to be able to pay and afford water. So they decided that they did not want to raise water and sewage, and therefore they decided that between making it financially available for citizens, along with the fact that the second tunnel wasn't as in poor condition, that they were able to not make it their number 1 priority. However, they have still continued to work on the project, and they think that the project will be done sometime in the early 2020s. Once this project is completed, the $6 billion tunnel will span over 60 miles, and it will be the city's largest capital undertaking. This project is important for so many different reasons, and it has such a great impact on the city. Over time, these reasons have actually shifted, and they are not exactly the same as they started. When they first started building the tunnel, its main purpose was to be a backup plan. That if anything were to go wrong, that they would have another source of water, and therefore the city would not be sent into a crisis. This is also so important because the 3rd water tunnel would allow for repairs on the first 2 tunnels, so the 2 tunnels could continue to run at optimal condition. However, we have seen an exponential increase in New York's population, and this 3rd water tunnel has allowed for that to happen fluidly. Because of the fact that the 3rd water tunnel does allow for more people to move in the city, and it allows for them to provide water to more people, the city can continue to grow. Therefore, this project now is impactful for 2 reasons. The first reason is that it allows for a backup plan and a crisis prevention, so that if anything were to go wrong with the first 2 tunnels, it would not impact the city as largely as it would without the 3rd tunnel. And on top of that, is allowed for the population to continue to grow without any issues. Thank you for listening.